We're walking into the golden age of personalized learning.
Tell us a little bit more about MagicSchool AI.
So this is AI built for teachers by teachers. School will be a place where kids want to go.
But what MagicSchool AI, in my opinion, is doing is planting those seeds
Oh yeah.
in a place where 10, 20 years from now is going to grow into something that is going to change the world.
We have to make sure that we're providing equitable access.
Yeah.
And look at the rest of the world. There's mandatory K-12 AI education in China. Their educators are being provided the tools, the professional development. How do we make sure every student has access to win this race? We need to wake up.
So you're really at the forefront of what democratizing a learning experience looks like for any child.
If we had the time to connect with every student like that and have those moments,
Yes.
that's humanity. That's the
humanity.
future.
That's the future human experience. I just wrapped up the conversation with Monica from MagicSchool AI, a fascinating new approach to how we're changing the education and the learning experience in our classrooms. Not from a technology for technology's sake, but putting the teacher and the learning experience in the middle and bringing in the right tools for solving the right problems. Monica's passion for not only the future of education, but how we are preparing the next generation matters today more than ever. Please enjoy this conversation. Welcome back to the Future Human Experience podcast. I am your host, Eric Rodriguez. I am so excited for our conversation today. We have Monica Gilfillan with us, MagicSchool AI Senior Account Executive. Monica, welcome to the Future Human Experience.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Monica, we had opportunity to connect at an education conference not too long ago because we care about what the future of education can look like. You are at the forefront of what education could be, bringing in new tools to life. Tell us a little bit more about MagicSchool AI.
It's a dream job. This is a culmination of my career in education, and I love what I'm doing every single day. I get to work with district teams and teachers to improve the quality of their lives with these tools and their ability to connect with their students. So it's my absolute joy to serve.
That is awesome. And tell us a little bit more, Monica, about what MagicSchool AI has been working on, because sometimes when we think about AI in the classroom, when we think about technology in the classroom, we have these images of, okay, well, students are just doing all the same things, or it's not as productive as sometimes that we would like for it to be. Tell us a little bit more about, in this era of artificial intelligence, that really educators, parents, community leaders, we're all trying to figure out, what does this look like for education today?
You know, we're walking into the golden age of personalized learning. I feel it in my bones, but we're still in the dark ages in terms of teacher burnout. So these things are happening simultaneously, right?
Yeah.
So how do we keep our best educators? How do we support them so they can deeply connect with our kids? They have the greatest responsibility in our society, and we must take care of them.
And so y'all been approaching this from a teacher-centric approach. So y'all decided to build a business on an AI conversation around schools, but approaching it from a teacher-first approach. How first off, what was that inspiration for that? But two, how's it been received in schools all around the country?
Our CEO, Adil Khan, is an amazing human being, former teacher, special education teacher, just like me, and a principal. And his idea was, let's pull the best educators together and let's do this right. We know how to do this job. We know what this feels like every day. Let's build this for our teachers. So this is AI built for teachers by teachers. And it's incredibly different than logging into a generic LLM.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we have a variety of folks in this profession, brand new to those getting ready to retire, uncertified folks, right? That have never taken an education class that are stepping into the classroom.
Yeah. So share with us a little bit more, Monica, about that journey and about that impact that you're starting to see today in the classroom, right? Because sometimes when we talk about automation, we talk about different tools, we could get overwhelmed too. Are we adding something else on the teacher's plate? Tell us a little bit more about that approach, because it's built by teachers. How's it actually helping remove some of that, those things that the teacher has to take care of, and they could just focus more on the students?
The best part of my job, I was just in Tucson Unified School District, and I trained 70 CTE teachers. And yesterday I was in Phoenix Union training their CTE teachers. The best part about this is people running up to me during or after the presentation saying, thank you. This is incredible. This is going to change the rest of my school year.
Wow.
Like, how do you not want to wake up every day and get after it?
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
People are so grateful.
Yeah. And I think part of that is because we are now navigating this, what I call the end of this industrial age of not only work, but even we have built our education system to really be a partner to that industrial age. And we're entering what I call this human era.
That's right.
Where it's much more personalized, much more customizable, much more human-centered, student-centered. And what you're seeing is that you're seeing these teachers, their eyes are opening up, their hearts are opening up and saying, wow, I now know how to serve my students a little bit different.
Yeah, immediately. Right? So the AI, I believe in the future of this, it's not going to be about the AI. It's going to be about the human relationship and how quickly we can form those relationships and those bonds and identify gifts and personalize those gifts early on.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Versus the sit and get 8-hour day. How is this relevant to me? The teachers are going to be able to get down to business quickly, identify those gifts, and school will be a place where kids want to go.
Yes. And not looking forward to Friday or writing to go on Monday.
Right?
Yeah. But Monica, with that said, even though, yes, we're showing some promise, some progress in these areas, because we're transitioning out of this era that frankly, we went to school a certain way too, it's also uncomfortable for some people to accept that. Can you share with us a little bit of the challenges too of navigating some of that pushback that we're also seeing in some of our schools?
Yeah, there is pushback. I think it's a lack of understanding, right? When you truly understand pedagogy, right? And we're talking about Montessori, we're talking about Dewey, Piaget, Paulo Freire, we know what works. We understand student agency, you and I both, right?
Yeah.
This is an add-on to student agency, very simply. And it's getting down to the core of what students need immediately. And it's lifting the burden off of the teacher. So if I can just have an hour with the school board or an hour with the superintendent to show the humanity of this, it brings down that fear.
Wow. What is the most common question you're getting from school board leaders or from teachers when they're a little bit hesitant about this?
It's safety. Is my personally identifiable information being collected? The answer is no. They do not understand, a lot of folks, walled gardens. They don't understand how you can wrap it, how you can keep it safe, FERPA and COPA compliant. These are all things that exist. But for some reason, they're terrified of this dystopian future. Right? They're terrified. But once we sit down and we show them how it works, it's an exhale. It's like, okay, let's get down to business. Enough time is wasted.
And what I love that you're highlighting too, Monica, is that you are approaching this not only from a student perspective and from a teacher perspective, you're listening to them as well, right? You're not just saying, hey, this is the one size fit all. This is going to work great in Phoenix and in Georgia and in Florida and in Costa Rica. It's no. We want to listen. We want to understand the culture. We understand the learning experience of your school district.
100%.
Okay.
And every policy will look different. You know what I love to do is go department by department, because a special education teacher is going to use this vastly different than the ELA, social studies, CTE. I could spend my day going department to department and saving these schools millions of dollars on wasted software that are duplicated. So we're going to see a huge streamline happen here too.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit more of that. So if we look at the history of how we've deployed technology, and I'll be the first one to raise my hand, I was part of that as well. What were some of those challenges that as we were deploying technology that now looking back, we're like, man, we should have done that maybe a little bit more differently, that now looking into this in this era of the 21st century, we know how we could deploy it a little bit better?
Well, I mean, look at social media. Look at our children. Right? Gen Z, they're growing up. Here's your first iPhone. Hopefully you didn't get it until junior high or high school. But were the Gen Xers or the boomers really prepared to monitor those devices? Were we modeling the best behavior for our kids? Or were we glued to the phone? Was our screen time off the records? Yes, it was. We have a chance to do this differently now. And we can lead and we can show them the way. or we can hide and pretend it's dangerous and it doesn't exist.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And no, that's a great example, because one of the things that I remember living through too is when we're talking about AI 10 years ago, we were talking about coding, for example, and the importance of all that, which was great at that time, right? But we're also tying it into what I call like the six-figure job aspiration, right? And saying, hey, you know what? That's how we're going to measure success, is those six-figure jobs.
Yeah.
And what we're realizing now in the first or the second quarter of the 21st century is that those six-figure jobs are evolving, they're changing, they're being disrupted, and it's more about how we're bringing that humanity forward. That's going to be that premium, is the person that wants to solve certain problems, the problems in their communities, that wants to look at problems and say, hey, I want to have the right tools around me. And so the approach that you are taking, not only as Magic School AI, but even from a teacher-centric approach, the teachers are not there necessarily to just teach the test. They're really there to unlock the humanity in every single child.
Yeah, absolutely. Leadership doesn't start in the boardroom. Leadership starts in the classroom, right? And the sooner we give the teachers access to these tools to help guide the students, their confidence, apprenticeships. What do you love to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So many people know at an early age, they've got that fire, they've got that passion. Where does it go? Why do we lose that? And how do we hang on to it, identify it quickly, and drive students to their passions?
Yes. Yeah.
I love the apprenticeship model.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more, Monica. I mean, what are some of the challenges that Magic School AI has been facing? I know you work here in the Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico area, but I mean, you've been listening to all these conversations around the country. What are some of the, like you were sharing, like some of the dystopian future conversations that are probably happening, but what are some of the conversations that maybe teachers are having or parents are asking? There's a privacy piece as well to it. But what are some of the other things that you're like, man, this is just a myth, that if we could just take a little bit more time to demystify this, man, we could unlock what's possible?
Yeah, I'm noticing all-out bans, right? So I really want to sit down with our school board members across the state and educate them properly first.
Yes.
Because they're terrified. No one wants to end up in the news.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
So we have to sit down. They have to understand that these systems are safe.
Yeah.
And that if we guide them properly, we're unlocking learning.
Yeah.
Beautiful, progressive learning. And we're helping our students to become college and career ready. How are we graduating these students without this skill set?
Yes.
Unacceptable.
With that though said, though, Monica, right, we are also entering this era because things are getting much more democratized. We immediately assimilate saying, well, yeah, this is as easy as downloading something and then just starting to work on it. There's some easiness to it, yes, but that's not what you're suggesting. You're suggesting, no, there is a strategy, there's an implementation, there's a rollout that takes time, that takes listening, that's gradual work.
Yes.
Right? But that eventually gets there. We're not saying everyone tomorrow has these tools at their disposal.
Right.
But if you do it the right way, everyone can have their tools at their disposal.
Absolutely. It's an equity issue too. So let's be honest, there's districts that have this in place and they're moving forward today. And there's some who haven't turned anything on, or they're scattered, or they're on multiple tools. We have to make sure that we're providing equitable access.
Yeah.
I have to get on board and look at the rest of the world. Look at China, right? Look at our AI presidential challenge. How many folks across these states have applied for that AI presidential challenge? Are they working on it?
Yeah.
It's due in January.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great challenge to folks. So if you're listening here today, we'll make sure we put links into that to inform people what that is. So if you're a school district listening to this today, there's an opportunity there, right? To implement that. With that said, so too, what are some of the models that you've seen around the world that you're like, wow, that would be great for us to utilize, that you've learned from other perspectives? You bring up China. I think that's a great example of how they've been implementing this and how they've approached equity. But there's also some cultural aspects that they're just a little bit different than us.
Sure.
What are some of those aspects that you're kind of like looking from around the world? You're like, wow, if we could implement elements of that into our country, that could really transform and help our students.
It feels like the great space race again. There's a mandatory K-12 AI education in China. Our educators, their educators, are being provided the tools, the professional development, the pedagogy. How do we incorporate this properly? How do we make sure every student has access to win this race?
Yeah.
It's time. We need to wake up.
Yeah. And it reminds me, I was working in the tech sector not too long ago, and I had an opportunity to go to Guangzhou, to China, and where a lot of the ed tech businesses were starting off of. They were, at the time I went there, it was 2019, and they were probably around 4 to 5 years onto that journey, exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about, right? So we're talking about something 6 years ago that they were not only committed, but they were investing. They had a strategy behind it. They knew it wasn't going to be done tomorrow. They
Right.
knew if they do it the right way, they're able to impact the students. Now, again, that's a very different country, very different cultural aspects, but just the approach and the commitment to what the future could be and unlocking, I thought was something inspirational for us to at least say, okay, humanly, this is possible.
Oh, yeah.
Culturally and technology-wise, it is possible. Sorry, technology-wise, it is possible. Mostly it's just our conversations and our aspects, our education around it, then that might be the limiting factor to this.
I think we all want to get past the divisiveness.
Mm,
We all want to be on the same page and do this the right way.
yeah.
This is something that can bring us together.
Yes.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yes. It reminds me, I love that you said that, just the space race. It reminds me about how we had conversations about the internet when it came into
Right.
education,
Right.
right? I've shared the story several times that I was in the 7th grade when my computer lab in Ecuador had its very first. Oh yeah, that was the experience that changed my life,
Yeah.
right? I started to see the world flatter, as you could say,
Yeah.
right? More connected.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing what those aha moments are in students today. I cannot predict what those are. We cannot predict what those are. But what MagicSchool AI, in my opinion, is doing is planting those seeds
Oh, yeah.
in a place where 10, 20 years from now, it's going to grow into something that is going to change the world.
Absolutely.
And Monica, with that said, what is your inspiration? I know you shared with us at the very beginning on why, you love what you do, but what was that aha moment for you to say, this is the space I need to be in education?
Oh, it was a no-brainer. I'm a former teacher and
Mhm.
special education teacher. So IEPs, 504s, customizing individualized learning plans for students has always been my passion. When I saw this, much like you turning on the internet for the first time, when I first started to play with this, I said, this is going to change everything.
Mm.
This is the culmination of my career. It's everything
Mm.
that I've been hoping for. And if I could have had this in the classroom, how many more lives
Yeah.
I could have changed. I'm hoping for that for every educator I meet.
Yes, I love that. And if there's an educator listening to this or a district leader listening to this that wants to, have that aha moment, where are some of the places where they could learn more about MagicSchool AI, or they could just navigate a little bit more? I mean, y'all have a fantastic website,
Yeah.
but tell us a little bit more about how they can engage with you and the work that y'all are doing.
I think the most fun part about being with Magic School is that this is a groundswell. Much like doctors are piling on open evidence,
Mm,
teachers are piling on
Mm.
Magic School. I mean, it's a groundswell. So you can get on TikTok, you can get on Facebook, you can get on YouTube, and folks are sharing what they're doing inside of their classrooms every day.
wow.
So it's not even me
Yeah.
out there. It's the teachers doing this work. And they're so ready and able to help one another. We have an ambassador program, a pioneer program. They all present to one another. It's an absolute blast.
Wow. And that reminds me that this industry is a very abundance mindset industry. This is not a, hey, we have these tools in our school. We're going to lock this in. We're going to keep this with us because we want to go and be better than that one and that one. We don't want to share this with them. No, what you're saying is that these teachers are embracing this, but also they want to share this with the rest of the world because they're seeing the impact that it's having in our students.
Yeah, once a month in Arizona, actually across Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, I bring the educators together via web and we share the tools. Because once you build those tools and they're well done, you can share them with one another. There's no need to recreate the wheel. And they love having the time together, just that space. Have a cup of coffee, kick back. How was your month? How did this change your classroom? How are you feeling? Because that's community, that's humanity, and that's bringing us all together.
That is a wonderful example of how we're building communities around innovation, right? That innovation just doesn't happen all of a sudden. It's the gradual work that we do every single day within our schools, outside of our schools, with our leaders, with our corporations, to really build something that's not only sustainable, but meaningful for others to utilize.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Monica, one of the things too that I wanted to make sure we talked on today as well is that we're also at the epicenter of those conversations of what school choice looks like, what public school looks like, what private school looks like, charter schools, something all in between, the influence of politics, how we have funded schools for history is also in the midst of all this, right? So it's forcing schools and communities to have these uncomfortable conversations about not only history, but also what we want our future to be, what we're building on. And we're doing that right here in the middle of Arizona every single day.
Every day.
With that said, though, too, where does this work around innovation and building community intersect with that? What have you seen that, maybe I don't have a big school, maybe I have a homeschool, maybe I have a different type of model, or maybe I'm just a parent that wants to be a little bit more engaged with my students' learning. Where has these type of tools or this product line been part of that experience as well?
Yeah. As an Arizona parent, I tell every parent I meet to create a free account on MagicSchool. It doesn't matter if you're in a micro school. It doesn't matter if you're homeschool, ESA, public school, private, parochial. I'm working with everybody.
Yeah.
So imagine now you're a parent. You didn't go to college to have a degree in education, but maybe now you have a child with an IEP or a 504 and you want to educate yourself and you need tools to help guide that thinking and that learning. You have access to that with MagicSchool.
Wow.
You need a lesson plan on early literacy. My little one's struggling at K3, right? We need help with phonemic awareness. These are all lessons that they can create aligned to Arizona state standards. It doesn't matter where you're at. That personalization is at our fingertips, and everyone should have equitable access to it.
Wow. So you're really at the forefront of what democratizing a learning experience looks like for any child.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. One of the ways that I've been using actually AI not too long ago with my own children, I have an 11 and an 8-year-old. The Rodriguez family has gone in like this reading renaissance over the last 6 or 7 months.
Awesome.
I was always an avid reader since I was a little kid. And I wanted to find some of those books for my kids, right? And they have different reading levels. We're trying to, pair them up with certain, and they have different interests as well, right?
Sure.
And so I was like, all right, how do I use maybe AI to go and find some of these books and maybe just get a short list so I could go out to the library with a strategy and say, okay, fine, this is what I'm going to go and look for. And it was wonderful, right? Because I could put in the information about my 11-year-old's Lexile level. I could say what he's interested in, what he's already read, what he liked, what he didn't like about certain books.
Yeah.
And then that came up with some really interesting recommendations that now we're reading these books that are not part of the school curriculum, but he has shared them with his school.
Wonderful.
And the school has said, wow, I never thought this book existed. And so they brought it in. So the same thing, my daughter, it's opened us doors for me to read books to her out loud, because now I have a read out loud strategy to kind of just build up her vocabulary. And it's created those human moments that
Sure.
I haven't shared this on the podcast, but one of the things I personally enjoy about doing the work that I get to do is I get to drop off my kids every single morning at school, right? Something that before used to be like, okay, all right, get off the car, see you, get in line, all right, bye, right? Which, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I did it for years. We have parents that have to do that every single day. But today it gives me 10 minutes with my daughter every single morning, because I drop off my son first, and then I have 10 minutes with my daughter. And I've just decided, hey, I'm just going to open up a book and read with her.
Yeah.
And we read the book Because of Winn-Dixie.
Oh, I love that book.
And so we get to this moment that's very emotional. And so we're reading this book right before school. And I'm crying as I'm reading.
Right.
And then she's crying. I'm like, oh my God, my daughter's about to go into school. We're both bawling. We got 5 minutes to reset.
Yeah.
But that would not happen if I didn't have the right tools to ask certain questions and say, hey, I care about my students' future. I care about my daughter's reading level. Introduce some books that we could possibly do something together.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to having those right tools around us that we could still create those human moments and human experiences that we'll remember forever.
Well, you're a wonderful father. You're a wonderful father. And that's my hope for every parent and every teacher.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you imagine if we had the time to connect with every student like that and have those moments?
Yes.
That's humanity. That's
humanity. That's the future human experience. With that said, Monica, one of the things we love to do today, I mean, we could talk about AI MagicSchool for days, and we'll make sure we have links to all that in our show notes. But one of the things we love to do with our guests is we ask them to come up with a surprise question. Like I said, we've known each other for the last year or so, and we've been following each other's journey. Well, Monica, what question do you have for me today?
Okay, so you sort of alluded to it earlier, that mind-blowing moment. Can you think of one or two in the last few years where you've accessed this technology and you're, whoa, this is going to change everything?
Yes. So one of them was actually, I did an education project in Swaziland and in Africa. And we're bringing laptops to the schools there. And we're going to deploy for the very first time in that country, one rural community, we're going to deploy laptops. Well, they had no internet. They had no connectivity. They had very limited power. And as we're preparing for this project, we're like, why are we bringing this technology? It's like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Right? And what we realized was that the online experience doesn't always have to be online. You can still create a great technical experience offline, right? It's just about how you use the tools,
Yeah,
right? Going back to your point, right? So we downloaded Wikipedia at that point. What Wikipedia could be, it was a few terabytes, and downloaded it so it could still feel like you were having an online experience with the students. We downloaded certain programs. Khan had an offline program as well, which we downloaded for them as well. We uploaded that as well so they could still have an offline experience. And so sometimes we think that because of technology today, because of our connectivity, everyone is connected the same way. And the reality is that it's not the case. 2020 showed us that as well, right?
Absolutely.
That we do have a lot of inequalities when it comes to connectivity. And so what that experience that I had in Africa in the mid 2010s was you could still create very thoughtful, human-centered experiences that don't necessarily always have to be online. Online is really cool. It unlocks a lot of things. But how do you meet the students in the community where they're at, right? Today, they more than likely have internet in that community, in that school. But it's that seed that we planted at that time was actually 2013. They eventually just grows into what is possible in that investment. So I think that has been a big aha moment for me about how technology could be used. That sometimes we put our own experiences and our own bias in how these things should be used.
Yes.
And when you put it in certain communities in the hands of certain students or certain parents, certain teachers, you realize, oh, wait, no, that's a brand new way to use it that I never thought about. But I'm grateful I've learned it because I put it in someone else's hands and I was vulnerable enough and humble enough to just watch and listen.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Monica, with that said, how can people find more about you, stay connected with you, and with MagicSchool AI?
Yeah, please connect with me on LinkedIn. And I say this out loud, I mean it. I am happy to help you.
Awesome.
And anyone in the Valley. So please reach out if you need my help. Go to MagicSchool.ai, check out our YouTube channel, and get started.
Awesome. Monica, thank you so much for being part of the Future Human Experience.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to this episode. I'm inspired to hear that these conversations are resonating within our communities, our organizations, our companies, and our households all around the world. If you found this conversation to be valuable, please take the time to like, subscribe, and share it with someone else. I do believe that as the future gets much more digitized, it gives us an opportunity to be much more human as well. And these conversations are part of that journey. So if you're enjoying the content on this channel, please check out these videos. Thank you.